I'm really the evil brainchild behind the whole stuff. Man, first and foremost, my mother, man, for just having the resilience to deal with me and my brother all her life, you know, and then her losing my brother and still being able to go on. That would be my first hero. My second hero would probably be, you know, somebody like Tupac, man, somebody who like gave a lot to the world when it came to their artistic gift, but then also who was passionate enough to give back to community. I would say, man, that would be my first heroes, man. You know, I think one thing I've always been afraid of is drowning. But you know what's interesting about me saying that is like I actually swam in the Port of Princesa, which is right off of the Philippines, and I challenged my fear, and I swam a whole day, but I couldn't move the next day. So it was like I challenged my fear. It was something that I was super afraid to do, but I did it. And I'm proud of myself for being able to go and do that, you know, with the life jacket on. But, you know, the next day I couldn't move, but it was all good. Hey, when I got kicked out of New York office and on my way back to Iowa on the plane, during that time, I was like, wanting to make a transition from just being a t-shirt printer to actually making a fashion line. So during that trip, I decided to create something when I got back. So that was the birth of Born Leaders United, was that plane ride from New York to Cedar Rapids. So fashion is important just because it gives you a choice as an individual to be who you want to be and to be as expressive as you want to be each and every day. And I think in many ways it brings confidence. I think it brings awareness. It brings a lot of different qualities out in a person that I think nonchalantly that they don't even know on a daily basis happens to them. So people misunderstand that I'm probably too nice. People probably think I'm too nice. And I think partially because of how stern and responsible and strict I can be, I probably make myself be too nice to people. You know what I'm saying? So it's somewhat of it's a mask. I'm really the evil brainchild behind the whole stuff. That nice. I'm really not that nice, guys. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I think people really do think I'm too nice, man. But I'm really a, you know, pretty serious business guy. Hey, you know, initially our vision was to, you know, have these 3 words removed from the hoodie and we'd be looked at as humans, right? We don't have to wear 3 words on our hoodie that say humanize my hoodie. That would be the ultimate goal. But I think with the evolution of Humanize My Hoodie and the evolution of Jason and my talents, passions, and gifts, I think, you know, what would be really dope and what would really be, you know, a real stamp is that we got full liberation of all Black people. I mean, that's a heavy wish, but, you know, how amazing would that be that, you know, we help create, you know, this space where Black people were liberated and looked at as different and looked at as like amazing people of the earth that we, you know, we're not criminalized, we humanized at that moment. So it's that dream that I'm chasing, that dream that that something like that could actually happen on this planet, you know what I mean? Going through that process of fashion taught me a lot about community. And what I mean by that initially I built this brand for me when I was talking about Born Leaders United, because that was kind of where I was heavy in the fashion thing. But I think what it taught me and what got me ready for Humanize My Hoodie is that we built community, right? And it was more than just me creating clothes, but how could I create a show that would support Black models, that would support, you know, Black designers or anybody who wanted to be in the fashion industry at that time? And how could I be a utility for that? And how could I do more giving than taking from, you know, the industry? Did I keep doing it over and over again? I think that's a little bit surprising me. What I mean by that is like, So, in 2003, I started a business called Hip Comic, and it was to support, college age kids. We just wanted to create a comic book and, have it around hip hop. And then I created Tailgate Barn, and then I created Born Leaders United. And now I'm part of Humanize My Hoodie. So when I'm saying that I'm surprising myself, I'm talking about all those things. I'm looking at it from a collection and a holistic standpoint of like, man, I'm surprised I'm still able to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, in the same realm, which is art, fashion. This time it's a little bit more deliberate and stronger with the movement, being black art and being black liberation. So it's a lot more passionate, a lot more sharp with the art, but it's still art at the end of the day. So being able to do that over and over and over again consistently definitely surprised me. I think I'll never forget the journey, man. The whole thing is amazing. Like, we wake up on a cloud, like in a real dream, but we know the work is like so necessary. So it's like, I was trying to explain this to somebody else earlier, man. I don't know the difference between a business and a movement with this. I can't classify it. So I think with that in mind, I think I'll always remember the moments, every moment. I think my whole childhood was bomb. Like, I'm from a place, Waterloo, Iowa, which per capita has the most black people in Iowa. For the people who are watching this interview and don't think black people live in Iowa, that's a false statement. Don't believe them. There are black people, and there's a lot of them where I came from. And we had culture growing up. So growing up, I remember going down the street, the guy who's selling me candy at the store, Ross Jr., black man, selling me candy. We had black businesses, black grocery stores. My neighbor was Joe the plumber. He was a black plumber. We had black construction workers. I grew up in a park. So you got to think, I saw a lot of great things at an early age, but I had the park as my disposal. So I started a lot of negative things too. You got to think, we saw condoms and Playboy magazines at an early age, drug dealings, and all this stuff happened in my adolescent years. We had to grow up really fast. So my childhood was bomb, man. I had the normal childhood that any other black kid would have. You think my son and my daughter driving? That made me nervous, man, for a couple reasons, right? Knowing what they have to deal with law enforcement, that's one, right? Knowing that they can hop in the car and not come home from either law enforcement or, getting in a car accident that's maybe caused by somebody else and maybe not even from themselves. I think those types of things make me nervous, especially when my kids are in the teenage years. It's like, now I'm thinking about stuff like that. That type stuff make me nervous. I don't have no regrets. Everything been a journey. I think all my mistakes have been a lesson. I think one thing I would have changed, if I could have, I think I would have been better financially suited before I went to college. Because here's the thing, man, I went to college, man, and when things didn't go well for me, I started selling drugs. So it's like, and then I never end up getting my degree from college because I ended up getting caught up selling drugs. So it was like, I wish I wouldn't have, if I have any regrets, I wish I would have just been better financially sound before I went to college, because I wouldn't have been able to been in that position. Family is important to me. Respect is important to me. I think, something that goes underlooked that's super important to me is loyalty. And I think I've run on those values. If you look at all my friends and my relationships, it's always been like, man, we like you just because you ain't never changed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I hold that in high regard. It's just like being loyal and respect. I've been using this model, a couple of them. And this is something that I'm stealing from my parents, because they always taught me nothing for nothing leads to nothing. So I've always taught myself, if I'm going to do something, or if I'm going to ask for something, then I better be providing something. So nothing for nothing leads to nothing. So you always got to be providing something. So I'm always bringing something to the table. Yeah, the other thing, and I've been teaching my kids more of this, and I think a lot of other kids, especially in our black families, need to understand this. It's like, we need to earn stuff. Like, it's not, everything's not given to us. We need to earn it. So it's like, you know, growing up, I never had anything given to me. That's why I was kicked out the house at 17, boom, boom, boom. And when I left, I never came back because it was like they taught me how to earn all my stuff. So I ain't never need anybody else because I could earn my own stuff. So I think that's one important value. And I think a lot of us never get that taught to us. We always feel like something needs to be given to us because we might had it too hard, or we had this, so we feel like we got to take it. Or it's like, man, no, we need to earn our stuff. You know, everybody need to earn their own stuff, you know? So I think that's one value that I try to share with the world and show people is like, man, nothing for nothing leads to nothing. And, you know, you need to earn your own stuff.